Danny, let's start with you. The impact of Margaret Thatcher on England's economy.
Well, obviously, this is a sad day when a famous prime minister dies. Clearly, the big moves that happened in the UK were basically privatizing state enterprises, taking on the unions, lowering taxes. That was a big legacy. In a sense, it was a legacy that was to come to the latest government we have now, but it was also pretty divisive. So in a way, in the UK, there are a lot of people who actually didn't like Thatcherism. They'll mourn the passing of Thatcher, but it was actually transformed the British economy. But you would certainly call it divisive. A lot of people were very unhappy. In a sense, the reputation of Thatcher was greater outside the UK, in the United States, than it was in the UK, because many people, particularly people in the north who lost their jobs under Thatcher, still hold grudges against her.
Bruce, a question for you about Maggie Thatcher. You know, does the Thatcher legacy, which is being carried forward, you know, the baton in David Cameron and George Osborne's hands, put, in your mind, Britain in a better position vis-a-vis the rest of Europe than, say, France, perhaps?
Well, it's interesting that yes, the UK is in a much better position than France, because France is kind of the other end of that extreme in terms of, where it is and where its economic powers and political strength lies. But when you talk about Margaret Thatcher, you talk about the supply side, you talk about leading with growth and lowering taxes and doing whatever the government can do to be smaller, to promote business. And that's not what we have here in this country right now today. Our government's gotten bigger, not smaller. Our taxes are going up, not down. And the amount of spending is increasing, not decreasing. So the era that we lived in, where Ronald Reagan, best friend in the world, Margaret Thatcher, and Ronald changed kind of, the United States posture and UK's posture is something that we all read about in the history books and just have tremendous respect for as economists, as business people, and as Americans and British citizens alike.
Danny, would you say Prime Minister Thatcher was the most influential political leader the UK has ever produced?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would certainly say Churchill takes that, probably the most important figure of the 20th century. But I think Thatcher clearly has had a major impact. I mean, if you look post-Second World War, post-Churchill, you would say there's Blair and there's Thatcher. And probably, if you really look back, Thatcher had the greatest effect, because we haven't really talked about the effect on foreign policy, on bringing down the wall. I mean, the war in the Falklands was actually a major thing, and in a sense, the discussions she had with Gorbachev. So I would say the foreign policy, the Iron Lady, was important as well.